The eternal law is the law that no one can escape, even in hell. Dante Alighieri, Dante's Inferno. Welcome back to Well House Midweek Minis. This is your ghost of a host with the most, Shanna.
It's PukwuPJ.
Tonight will be episode 4 in our midweek mini episodes. You excited?
I am.
Well, before we begin, I have a joke for you, PukwuPJ.
I'm ready.
What do you get if you cross Bambi with a ghost?
What?
Bamboo.
I
thought you'd like that.
That's awesome.
You're welcome. For this story to be proper, PukwuPJ, I have to give you something very important.
Okay.
Why do you think I'm giving that to you?
Revenge for last time?
No, but tell the audience what it is.
It's candy?
What do you think we're discussing tonight?
Halloween?
Yes! Well, we're going to discuss something about spring Halloween, as I call it. And then you will tell the story of your scariest nightmare ever.
Yep.
Okay? So, my references for this evening are Roman Miscellany, Wikipedia, and later, PJ's brain.
That's right.
It's a horrifying place.
It is. You don't want to be there, as you'll find out.
All right, the story. So back to my candy that I gave you. You know Carrie and I. No, I did not give you the permission to do that.
You gave it to me. What else am I going to do with it?
I'm not going to touch it. You're really ruining the episode. 20 to 25 minutes only. I will cut you off from your dream. You know Carrie and I love Halloween. Now we have an excuse to celebrate it tonight. April 30th and May 1st are important dates in parts of Europe, and the Catholic Church is involved. So why we haven't been celebrating this is beyond me. While we have Halloween here in America and most of Western civilization, many parts of Scandinavia and Northern Europe have Walpurgisnacht.
Gesundheit.
April 30th is a traditional night for Walpurgis. It is a holiday that originated in the pagan celebration Beltane and later merged with the Christian feast day honoring Saint Walpurga. It's a good name.
This guy cough it up.
Fun fact, she was born in England, so her name, oof. Anyway,
oh, my.
May 1st is when her relics were moved, according to the story, to the resting location that they're at now. So this date is one of those dates on the pagan calendar when the boundary between the living and the ghostly worlds is supposed to become very thin. Ooh.
Cool.
Yep. The holiday is generally celebrated with bonfires, trick-or-treating, and dancing. Especially witches dancing, hence the picture I posted to Facebook and Instagram and X. All the better to welcome the spirits of loved ones and to ward off any ghosts with dark intentions. In Sweden, typical holiday activities include the singing of traditional spring folk songs and the lighting of bonfires. In Germany, the holiday is celebrated by dressing in costumes, playing pranks on people, and creating loud noises meant to keep evil at bay. Many people also hang blessed sprigs of foliage from houses and barns to ward off evil spirits, or they leave pieces of bread spread with butter and honey, called Ankenschnitt, as offerings for phantom hounds. In Finland, Walpurgisnacht and May Day are effectively merged into a single celebration that is usually referred to as Vappu, and that is among the country's most important holidays. Initially, Walpurgisnacht was celebrated by the Finnish upper class. But then, in the late 19th century, students, most notably engineering students, took up its celebration. Today, merrymaking, college students. Today, merrymaking begins on the evening of April 30th, often augmented with the drinking of alcoholic beverages, particularly sparkling wine. Then, the carnival-like festivities carry over to the next day, frequently taking on a family dimension, as friends and relatives picnic in parks among balloons and they consume sima, which is a homemade low-alcohol, and sometimes not low-alcohol, high-alcohol mead. So, it's fun. It's a fun day. Now, the origins of the holiday date back to pagan celebrations of fertility rites and the coming of spring. After the Norse were Christianized, the pagan celebration became combined with the legend of Saint Walpurga, an English-born nun who lived at Heidenheim Monastery in Germany and later became the abbess there. Walpurga was believed to have cured the illnesses of many local residents. Walpurga is traditionally associated with May 1st because of a medieval account of her being canonized upon the transition of her remains from their place of burial to a church circa 870-ish.
Okay.
Although the date of her canonization is likely purely coincidental to the date of the pagan celebrations of spring, people were able to celebrate both events under church law without fear of reprisal. In the Catholic Church, her feast day is actually February 25th. So, fun fact. Yeah. Now, Saint Walpurga quickly became one of the most popular saints in England, Germany, and France. When the bishop had Saint Walpurga's relics moved to Eichstätt, I love German words, quote, miraculous cures were reported as her remains traveled along the route. Miracle cures were later reported from ailing people who anointed themselves with the fluid known as Walpurga's oil that drained from the rock at her shrine in Eichstätt. Every year on October 12th, the holy oil from St. Walpurga's tomb in Germany begins to flow, and it continues until her feast day on February 25th, and it has continued to flow for over 1,200 years, stopping only, apparently, during a period when the town was under interdict and after blood was shed in the church by armed robbers. So, oil is supposedly coming from her bones and a rock, and people collect it and they use it.
That's not creepy at all.
This is a creepy podcast. Well, they've done chemical tests on this, and they have revealed that the oil is actually just natural water, although its contact with the bones of the saint justifies its use for pious purposes. It is continually collected and then distributed to the locals and throughout the world, and yes, I checked. You can buy it online.
Of course.
So if you'd like some bone water, I got you. Anyway, Saint Walpurga was hailed by the Christians in Germany for battling, and I'm not kidding, pests, rabies, and whooping cough, as well as being against witchcraft. So actually, Christians prayed to God through the intercession of Saint Walpurga in order to protect themselves from witches and witchcraft.
Mm-hmm.
As Saint Walpurga was successful in converting the local populace to Christianity. Which is why that picture was posted, Dancing Witches, because she's going to save you from it if you pray an intercession with her.
Okay.
But anyway, in parts of Europe, people continue to light bonfires on Saint Walpurga's Eve in order to ward off evil spirits and witches. So watch out, witches! Saint Walpurga gonna get you. Penny, please be careful when driving your broom tonight.
Oh, no.
Just in case. And now, with that little snippet, I am going to turn over to you, PukwuPJ, because you are our feature story tonight. I'm calling it PukwuPJ's Purgatory.
Apt.
Because it's alliterative.
It is.
So take it away, PukwuPJ.
I'm nervous. Okay. I've never been nervous in front of a microphone before.
I'm just never nervous because I'm just amazing, but it's okay.
All right. So this happened, gosh, I think I was in high school.
We weren't dating yet.
Yeah, I think it was in high school when it happened.
Were you being a bad boy?
No.
Oh, okay.
But it's been an obsession of mine ever since I had this dream. It's one of the most real things I've ever experienced, and also one of the most terrifying things I've ever experienced. And I desperately want to have it again, but I'm also desperately terrified of having it again.
Why would you want that again?
I want it again because I want it fresh in my mind.
Gotcha.
I want to get all the details right because it's been so long since I've had it. But like I pulled out my old book from like 10 years ago, and there are like drawings of it in here. Like, you know, this thing is just always on my mind.
You're going to be the next Dante Alighieri, hence my reading of that quote.
So I had this dream. It starts off with weird dream logic, and then it shifts. So, yeah, everyone always says, like, the most boring thing ever is when someone explains their dream to you. So you're welcome, audience. But it starts with me in a long, dark, stony tunnel. And at the end of it is a light about 200 or so feet in front of me, carved out of the right side of the wall, is a platform that's about 3 feet high. and there's some steps leading to the platform. So, for you, Shanna.
I don't want to see this.
So this is my drawing of the platform.
It is a beautiful drawing.
And the road, the tunnel. So, obviously, I walk down the tunnel towards this platform because it's the only source of light other than the end of the tunnel. And I know I cannot go go out the other end of the tunnel. There's just something in my head that tells me if I walked straight out the other end of the tunnel, I'd just be back at the beginning. Like an infinite loop. So, I go up onto the platform. And there's a little boy there, like 10-ish years old. And he's in like 1930s, like newsy style clothes. And he has like a suitcase with him. He's like, "Oh, you're here." And I'm like, "Why, yes."
Yes, thank you for noticing.
And he's like, "You're supposed to show me the way out." And then, sure enough, dream logic, like right at that second, a bus shows up. And I'm like, "All right, there's a bus.
I assume."
Bye. See ya. And he's like, "Okay." He gets on the bus and like leaves. And I just remember like wanting to be on that bus, but I couldn't. And so I'm just standing on this platform and looking out at the road that I just came off of. And to my right is the tunnel out that I was walking towards. And to the left is where I started. But then like behind me and to the left, there is a door. One single solitary door.
Are you going to post any of these pictures to our Facebook page?
Yeah, I figured I'd post these
Good.
pictures. So, look at this artistic drawing right
That
there.
is one solitary door.
Right? So it's a door.
It is
So,
beautiful.
I open the door. And I see a hallway that veers off to the left. And I know that if I were to follow that hallway, it would lead to another hallway that ends in a set of double doors. I just know this.
Mm-hmm.
But right ahead of me, I see a door staring at me at the end of this hallway as it veers left. So I'm like, okay, well, let's go see what this looks like. And so it's like white halls, very sterile looking, almost like a hospital or like school hallways kind of deal. And so I'm just walking, well, more white than a school hallway, no lockers or anything, no details on the walls. It's just white.
Very much a corridor.
Yeah, with gray doors, And so I walk up to the first door, turn the knob. It's not locked, so I open it, and I get pulled into the door, or into the room behind it. To which I am in a sea of nothing. It's complete pitch black. I don't have a body. There's no up or down. There's nothing except cold. And it's not like freezing. It's like if you walked into a refrigerator. It's like chilly. But again, like I had no sense of time. It
was all just taken from you.
Yeah. No, like the weirdest thing was no body. Like I was just consciousness. And I couldn't figure out what way was up, what way was down, what direction I came from, or anything, or even how long I was there. It felt like a long time. And then all of a sudden, like, poof, I'm back at the front of the hallway again. And I'm like, I'm not going in that door ever again. This is the worst thing ever. So I go down the hallway towards the door again, and I turn left and follow the hallway away from that door. And now I'm looking at a hallway that leads straight ahead. There's a door on the left wall, but then the hallway also veers to the left, and that's where the double doors are going to be. So I'm like, okay, this is fine. So I'm like, okay, this door surely can't be worse than the nothingness. Like, I will go through this second door here. So I open up the second door, and again, I get pulled in to the room, but this time only like a couple feet. I'm like in this room, and this room is
another picture.
Another picture.
Oh my gosh, I am like getting listeners.
Getting
I'm getting all the good stuff tonight.
I mean, this one. So I'm gonna show you the original picture, I think, because it's the original picture.
Oh my god, you have to see. You gotta just start your own Dante's Inferno.
I tried. So there, it's like a room with tables and people sitting at tables, and there's like an elevated platform with more tables in the back of the room. And so in the front, there's a square table with 3 people sitting at it. And this is the part that gets me every time, is that there is this so in the front there's that square table with 3 people, and the guy sitting on the right side of the table he's hard to explain, and I still can't. I've tried to draw him several times, but I'm the worst artist in the world. But he has a very large nose and a small little mustache underneath it, and thin lips, and he's just this big burly guy with very wiry hair and these round glasses with wire frames. When I enter the room, they all stop what they're doing and they do the slow head turn towards me. Ugh. And this guy especially, when he turns to look at me, his glasses reflect the light in such a way that it's just white, there's
that glint.
Yeah. And so there are these bright white spaceless eyes, and there's nothing behind the glasses. There are no eyeballs there at all. And so here's my drawing of him.
You sure it's not Hitler?
It's not Hitler. He's much burlier than Hitler.
Okay.
More round than Hitler ever was, and things like that. But he definitely had that World War II-esque look. He had suspenders on and a button down and everything.
He has the workman's mustache.
Yeah. His was longer. It wasn't the little one that Germans had. It was
filled to his entire lip.
Yeah.
Okay.
And at that moment when I made eye contact with them, I felt the cold again washed over me. This shivering cold. And then I felt pure hatred, which I've never felt in my life before, ever, before or since. And it's the hardest thing to explain. I've tried to explain it to you. I don't know how it resonates with you. But for me, the best way I can describe it is for pure hatred, something that I never thought a human could experience, is in order to hate someone, in order for me to hate, I don't know, Hitler. Let's go with Hitler, since we mentioned him. In order for me to hate Hitler, he has to exist for me to feel this emotion towards him. I was such an offense to these people that my mere existence was intolerable and disgusting.
Down to your molecules. They hated anything and everything.
The fact that I walked this earth at all was a complete affront to everything that they believed in. And they wished nothing more, not to kill me, but to completely erase me. And I just sat there standing with them for a while until I find myself sitting at a table with them. And that hatred is just me. I don't have an identity. I don't have anything. I am just sitting at the table, and I am that feeling. And I'm there again for an indeterminate amount of time. I'm just there, sitting at this table, feeling like this. And then, poof, I'm back at the hallway again. And just freaking out completely.
Not going in that door.
Oh, yeah, now there are 2 doors that I hate. And I didn't think the first one could be any worse, but...
Boy, was I wrong.
Yep, I'll take the first door any day now. Because nothing is surely better than that. So I go to... I walk around those 2 doors and follow the hallway. So I make the left around the first door, walk straight past the second one. I make a left at the end of that hallway, and I see the 2 double doors. And they're typical double metal doors with the bumper handles. Yep. And that's kind of what I saw on the other side. I open up the double doors, and I don't get sucked into this room yet. Instead, I see a large square room, and just as I'm entering the room, I see a train complete opposite me. So I'm on a square, and I'm in the center wall of one square, and completely opposite of me, I see a train departing. And there's a family over there around a campfire with their luggage, just sitting.
Gotta get there. Got it.
Yes, that was exactly what I thought. I'm
that's where I want to be.
is where I need to be. And I get sucked off to one of the corners of the room, because in all four corners were groups of these horrible people that were all full of this coldness, like emptiness. It wasn't the hatred I felt before. It was just
and
like
it wasn't
this...
the nothingness. It
No.
was a little bit different.
It was like almost like apathy, but it wasn't. Yeah, it was something different. And that's again like another reason why I want to have this dream again, is because like I'm missing some of those details. There was cold. I remember that, and it was a sensation similar to apathy, but it was terrible. It was absolutely horrible. And again, I'm sitting there with these people, just kind of like a sponge in water, soaking up this emotion. And then like poof, I'm back at the beginning of the hallway again. And
that's so weird. I'd be like, I'm done.
I
would just sit down.
It was horrible, because like I wanted to, but I also knew like I had a destination now. And I'm like, I'm gonna have to go through all these, aren't I? Like I know this. And so I go through the door over and over and over again, hitting every corner, feeling this terrible sensation.
And it's the same like apathy.
Yeah,
coldness.
Nothing changed from one group to the other, until finally I make it to the family outside, the middle wall.
Yeah.
And
the train station. If you will.
And the platform. And I like just dropped to my knees next to this woman who everyone thinks I'm describing my mom, but I'm not. It's actually closer to our friend Brandon's mom.
Yeah. We won't use last names, but Mama.
Where she's an elderly woman, heavy set, which the real person in like is kind of like that, and gray hair and a ponytail, just very motherly grandma-esque kind of description. And she grabs me by the back of the head and pulls me over to her shoulder and hugs me and just says like, it's okay, like we're going. And I just lose it. There,
kid.
Yeah. And
I'm gonna be your Virgil. We'll get you out of here.
Yeah. And so I just broke down and bawled my eyes out until the train shows up, and I help them with their bags, and we get on.
Good boy.
And we leave. And I woke up covered in tears. And
how did you feel when you woke up?
Immediately, and this is my thought ever since, like the very first thing that happened when I woke up was I thought that's purgatory. Like that's that, at least that's my purgatory. I don't know, that's probably not purgatory for everyone, but like that's what's waiting for me.
And what's interesting is, like, when I think about it, having been married to you and having dated you since 2006, like, a lot of that is kind of true for you. You are slow to anger, but when you get angry, there is, like, and if you're mad at somebody, there is no way they can get back in your good graces. There just is, like, that is it. Like, you cut them off. And so you're getting better at not hating, I guess. But I could see you sitting there, like, but I think you having to experience that, like, hatred down to you, to your very, very molecules, the fact that you suck air on Earth, like, that hatred, you had to feel it. So you know what it's like to feel that against someone else. And I think that makes you more aware of how you treat other people,
Yeah.
And so, like, whereas you may have gotten to the point where you hated someone in the past, because I remember college. I know there's some people. I think that you're more forgiving now. And so there may be a couple people we still don't
there's
like.
still some people, there's some people from high school that, never. But anyways.
Yeah. But I think that the nothingness, too, is, I think, when I think about that, you always mention, like, is God really there? Because sometimes, you get broken. Like, we just, as a human being, you get broken. Like, is God really there? The bathroom's broken again every time. This is always happening. We have the hate and bad luck, that kind of stuff. Like, we all, like, go through those moments. And sometimes I wonder, like, if that is a showcase of, what
the
life,
absence.
If you were to go to purgatory or go to a different version of hell where there's an absence of God, that's going to be you. You're not going to have a body. You're not going to have a soul. You're not going to know what time it is. There is no existence. And that's something that's kind of mentioned too in Dante's Inferno, especially when you get down to the deeper parts of hell. It's freezing cold because Satan's the person who is trapped in that he's trapped himself in.
Yeah.
And you have to overcome your own problems. You have to climb over Satan, right, to get out of hell. So I think like that's the absence, like that's the absence of God there. Like if you remove yourself so far, you become nothing. So I when I listen to you, I think about that. The apathy, like all I can think is like the cold shouldering, maybe.
Yeah, I'm
stuck on that one too.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole final room section is interesting.
And the fact that it happens over, because it was like every corner pretty much, right?
It was every corner.
Groups, yeah.
It happened 4 times before I got to the end.
And like, so whatever you need to learn, it's in that room, obviously. But I would love our listeners to chime in for that too. But there's like some kind of an apathy or cold shoulder that you need to recognize in yourself. And like, that's the biggest issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I mean, because I can be apathetic. I can cut people off very easily. And I know that is my problem. Like, I know, like, I will turn a cold shoulder. I will not fight you. I will not yell at you. I just won't talk to you. Like, you will not exist to me. So I'm not going to sit at a table and glare at you with my creepy glasses, and hate your molecules. I'm going to just ignore you. I'm going to cold shoulder you because I don't want to fight. Maybe that's what that is maybe there should be fighting. Maybe you shouldn't be. I don't know.
No, because it's like,
there's more to it.
It's a feeling worse than apathy.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's more akin to just like a lack of any, like, which is kind of apathy, but there is just like nothing. Like,
but it's not nothingness, like the not existing.
Right, because the not existing, like there was nothing, no body, no direction, that was a whole different thing.
Yeah. Well, our listeners should chime in, because
I would love to know what the listeners say about this one.
Although I'm not surprised at the end of it's a train with you.
And well, yeah. But listeners, even if you just say like it's your mind just going crazy, like you had you ate some weird food that night, like seriously, like I want to hear anything on what the listeners have to say.
And listeners would understand, like, PJ doesn't dream.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
So for him to have a dream, like, to me, like, I think there's more to it, because I
something
believe
this visceral too. Yeah. Like, this is I've never felt emotions this strong before. Like, if there was a room of like love or something, it would have been love like dialed up to 11. Like, so I've never experienced anything so powerful in my life.
Because, like, for me, I dream all the time. And so I'll wake up and I'll be mad at you.
In great detail.
Over nothing. I'm like, you don't understand. In my dream, this happened. You're like, but I'm right here. I don't care. In my dream, okay?
I'm like, I had a dream about, I don't know, we were in a room and
the end.
There's some other guy there and I don't know, something happened.
And my story explanations can go on for like an hour.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So the fact that he dreams that this happened at all, like, to me, means there has to be something more to it. So I don't know. I would love to hear our listeners. I know that Carrie and Penny will have thoughts on that, especially, and Jackie, and maybe you will too. But some of our listeners, like, you're really into dreams, so hook us up with some ideas here, because we are broken. So Jamie, I know that we talk a little
broken.
I'm broken. I don't know. So let us know what you think. But thank you for this story. I love your Purgatory story because it makes me want to go to church more often.
I've never told that story to strangers before, so.
I told my Georgie Porgy story.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, this is
a deep, dark area.
Yeah, I was very nervous about this.
We crossed a threshold. You've come to the creepy side.
No, that's I've been on that side for a while.
I'm just
look at the house I grew up in.
I know, I live here. Thanks. Anyway, thank you all for listening to the Well House Exorcism. You can find us on Instagram as Well House Exorcism, one word. You can find us on Twitter /X as the Well House Exorcism, or you can find us on Facebook under Games Overboard, because we are a subsidiary. Feel free to hop onto our website as well, which is gamesoverboard.com. Please email us, Facebook message us, whatever it's going to take. We want to hear from you, and we want to hear your thoughts on PJ's dream.
As always, think spooky thoughts.
I love that voice. We cannot steer around evil, but must sail through it. Dante's Inferno by Dante Alighieri.